Hello and welcome back to the Football Talk podcast on YouTube and SoundCloud, and we're on Twitter. We're all over the face, all over your face. I've been watching too many dodgy films. We're all over the place. Right, without further ado, let's crack on to the news. Hi, Josh. Are you there?
I'm there. Yeah, I'm here. I'm blushing at what's just gone before me. So, yeah. How are you, Dave?
I'm really, really jet lagged, and my brain isn't working properly.
Oh well, I am not jet lagged. I had a lovely night's sleep, so I will hold the fort today.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a bit of because it's weird. The transfer window's still been going on. That's my kind of news this week. Is that I've been watching a few of the dodgy deals going through, and in Europe, and a few Championship players been moving around.
It's been really weird. It's been really weird.
It has been weird. What's your weirdest one? What's your weirdest transfer, Dave?
Well, my weirdest one is big old Cameron Jerome leaving Derby and going to pastures new in Turkey. Like, I didn't expect that at all.
No, very true.
Yeah, he's gone off to Göztepe.
Big fan of Göztepe.
Yeah, Göztepe. Yeah. That team somewhere in Turkey. I have no idea where. But, you know, they were obviously...
I'm going to go for Istanbul. My knowledge, they're probably in Istanbul. So.
Yeah. I mean, they were obviously drawn in by his 6 goals in 20 games last year in the Championship and thought, we'll have a bit of that. So...
I mean, I always think of Cameron Jerome as the epitome of a player who couldn't kind of make it in the Premier League but was all right in the Championship. But looking at those prior year goals that he got last year, maybe can't even make it in the Championship anymore.
I know. So, well, let's see. If he might make it in Turkey. You never know. You just never know, do you?
Maybe.
So,
yeah. My weird one, although I've kind of rationalised a little bit, is Eric Maxim Choupo-Moting has gone to PSG.
He has, to work for his old boss, isn't it?
Yeah, so Tuchel had him for 3 years at Mainz.
Yeah.
So that makes some sense. And also, I like to look at the agent involved. So his agent is also the same one for Julian Draxler and the new centre-back signing, I'm going to mispronounce this, Thilo Kehrer.
Okay.
So,
a bit of agent.
There's the manager and agent link. So it's not as weird as it looks, but it is still pretty weird. It's
very weird. If you think he was signed for Stoke got relegated, and now he's moved to PSG, it's really weird.
Well, you look at Stoke's outgoing transfers. They've sold a player to Liverpool, they've sold a player to Man United, and they've sold a player to PSG. Yeah. Lee Grant, Xherdan Shaqiri, and Eric Choupo-Moting have all gone. They've all fallen upwards.
Yeah, that is very bizarre. I mean, Shaqiri I can understand. It's because he has those flashes of brilliance, but Grant and Choupo-Moting is just so left field. It's just bizarre. It's just totally bizarre. But I mean, any others that have caught your eyes?
Fabio Contrao has left Real Madrid and signed for the small Portuguese side Rio Ave.
Really? Okay. He was linked to United 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, I liked him. Euros or World Cup. I thought, he's a very good player. Awful hair, but very good player. But yeah, he never really displaced Marcelo in the side, did he? And so Marcelo seems to play nearly all the matches, and
that is true. Yeah.
Felt go elsewhere. Rio Ave, he used to be a kind of a Jorge Mendes side, and little fun fact for you is that they used to have Oblak and Edison as their 1-2 as goalkeepers.
Really? Oh wow, that is incredible.
Yeah. So Atletico Madrid and Man City's number ones used to play for the same side, and I think there was a time where I think Oblak maybe got sent off or something, and Edison had to come on. So Oblak was the number 1, Edison was the number 2. It was it's the strange partnerships of it kind of happened in previous, like we spoke about earlier in the week, how Kyle Lafferty and Paulo Dybala used to be strike partners.
We were. Yeah, it's just weird how things like that happen. It's so bizarre when things like that happen. So while we're talking about transfers, actually, because we haven't actually discussed this, are you a fan of the English? Well, not even English, the Premier League deadline day coming forward. Are you a fan of it, or do you think it's a bit of an own goal to use a football term?
I quite like it. I think it's been positive. It got all the deals out of the way. I would even be tempted to bring it forward a little bit more.
Really?
I think it was just maybe just a week or something like that. Just so, as a Spurs fan, I was like, maybe I'll sign a player in time for the first game. It was like, oh no, it's just done. So I'd happily bring it forward. I think the way it fell with the World Cup, I think it wasn't ideal that we had such a short period of players being back, and I also think the season started a little bit early. So I think without a World Cup, it would work a lot bit better, because then you can get deals done during those summer weeks. But I'm happy with it. It's been nice to see some odd deals go on around in other leagues and see all their kind of the turmoil that brings. And I've been happily sat here going, Spurs are done. I think it would be a bit more interesting.
Spurs are done. Spurs were done last year, last season. You didn't do anything
last summer.
Yeah,
last January was like. But no. It's. I think if there had been a major lever from the Premier League, then you'd have a real black mark. And say if Paul Pogba had gone to Barcelona, you'd be like, oh God, what have we done? But you're unlikely to have that happen, because the clubs know the situation they find themselves in.
Yeah, true. I mean, I'm not a fan of it, but I like being early. I think if one transfer window ends, they should all end at the same time in Europe anyway. I agree. I'd like to have seen it standardised across Europe, but I think we're in the right having it at this point in time, and other leagues need to follow. Yeah, I always like standard. I don't like the fact that different leagues start at different times in August, September. I don't like the fact that Germany has 18 teams in their top league and everybody else seems to have 20, because then, the other top leagues have 20. Obviously, you have smaller ones in like Portugal and Turkey and things like that. But because then that means that, like, say for example, Bayern already play 2 less games, already a bit more. Maybe you can look at it one side fresh, one side less match fit, or kind of less in the groove by having less games. But I think you need that standardisation if you're going to be a top league. Yeah, I think the way football is as a business, you'd think that standardisation would sort of be there. Like, you'd think FIFA would be like, we're all going to be transparent, which means everyone has to have the same teams. So let's say, just to go on another tangent, let's say FIFA said that was going to happen, and you're going to have 18 teams in the Premier League. It's going to drop from 20 to 18. Who goes?
Yep.
How would you do it? 5 to 5 get relegated?
Yeah, you'd relegate 5 that year. Maybe maybe you'd go for a bit of a playoff or something. It would be brutal, or maybe you do the 3 and then the bottom 4 do a playoff. Or the next 4 do a playoff.
Yeah, true.
Right. If you look at it from this season, would we miss Cardiff and Huddersfield?
No chance.
There you go. Yeah, there's your answer. It's like how the Euros in the World Cup have expanded. It's like we didn't need to expand, but there was already dross in there already.
Yeah.
Filter it down.
So before my confusion over maths and numbers, what I was actually going to say was that I'm not a fan of the transfer window moving forward this year, but I don't think we can really, like you've already mentioned, you can't really judge it until next season because of the World Cup, and the fact that so many Premier League players actually got quite far in the World Cup. Like, if Spain had got further, then it would have affected Madrid and Barcelona more. But it was England, all their players came from the Premier League. France, half of their team came from the Premier League. Belgium, half of their team came from the Premier League. So it was, like you say, I wouldn't have introduced it this year. I would have said, let's bring it forward the year after the World Cup, just so that you can get that consistency going. But
agreed.
I'll judge it next year. That's pretty much it. I think I can see both sides of it, being in favour and being against it, but I just thought I read an interesting article about it, so I wanted to ask you and get your opinion on it. So It was interesting.
Okay, other news items this week. We had. Did you see the UEFA Awards and where they had sat
Ramos and Salah? Oh yeah, I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it. And he went past and touched him on that shoulder.
Touched his shoulder. Yeah, he's such an absolute bastard, isn't he?
He is. He really is. He's the bastard you want in your team. Like, every team
absolutely
wants a one bastard like that, and it's absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible.
Yeah. So I enjoyed that. Also, there was it's a little bit a while ago, but there was the very surprising news of Hugo Lloris being arrested for drink driving.
Yes.
Did not expect to see that.
Yeah, arrested for drink driving and Tottenham not dropping him for a game.
Not dropping him.
Yeah.
I think the only way that drink driving arrest would be more surprising if N'Golo Kante was in the back of his car smoking weed. Could not believe it.
No, yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. But I thought Tottenham would have been like, we're going to send out a message. He'll be dropped for one game. But no, they've obviously fined him behind closed doors. But
he did play a game, Dave. What game did he appear in? Yeah, what did
he... Oh, shut up. Yeah, shut up. Yeah, shut up. I've erased that from my memory, yeah.
Yeah, Tottenham Man United played last week, didn't they?
Excuse me, viewers.
Did you enjoy that,
Josh? Do you know what? I was keeping up to date on my mobile.
That was horrendous.
Yeah, that'll get a big bleep, don't you? Yeah, I was actually out for dinner with my brother and his wife, and I was keeping myself up to date on the first half on my phone, and then I had the joy of watching the second half. So
yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Tottenham didn't play especially well. First half especially a bit sloppy. You had a couple of chances. We should have had a penalty, and so I think you won the first half in kind of terms of chances created, and then we just decided to score some goals. And I did love a little bit of Lucas Moura.
He's been, like you discussed it, and a couple of episodes ago, saying you can't really judge January or summer signings from last year until this year when they've settled in, and that is a prime example of Lucas Moura. 6 months of training under Pochettino and 6 months of how Tottenham play and want to work, and he was superb that second half. He was unbelievable.
I love that second goal. It just kind of how far he knocked it in front of him and how far behind Chris Smalling is, and he gets that nick. And I think Chris Smalling should have done better. He should have been able to take that ball, but it was like, he's just got through. And then he has to. It was kind of like watching Aaron with an end product. It was just like,
but I will sort of counteract that by saying that moment of play sums up Chris Smalling since he's been at United. He should be doing everything slightly better.
Yeah.
So
I can't remember which. I saw some highlights the other week, and it was from years ago. I was like, oh my goodness, you were still playing with Chris Smalling and Phil Jones then. It's like, how is that possible?
They were meant to be like the next centre backs for England, weren't they? They were meant to be the partnership that flourished at United and then flourished for England, and they've just been awful.
I know, and Phil Jones was pretty much the same player at Blackburn. He was that kind of. I thought he was going to be an all-action kind of Roy Keane, marauding defensive midfielder, because he played there a few times too early on. I thought, that could be it. And I don't even know what he is now. He's just
it's just a gurning. He's a gurning mess. That's what he is.
It doesn't. His face doesn't help things, does it? It doesn't make you feel sorry for him. It's like, stop gurning. Yeah.
Yeah. But well, any other news that caught your eye today? This week?
There was just last one was the Premier League Player of the Month. I think if you see the players who are listed there, it was quite a refreshing list.
I didn't see it.
So listed are Marcus Alonso, Neil Etheridge, Sadio Mane, Benjamin Mendy, Lucas Moura, Roberto Pereira, and Virgil van Dijk.
Oh wow! Okay, that's.
It's no real, because you've got. It's nice to see a goalkeeper recognised, because Etheridge saved a couple of penalties, a couple of clean sheets.
Yeah.
A couple of defenders recognised. I mean, Virgil van Dijk's the more kind of positive recognition, because it's not like he scored goal. Often you get defenders scoring a couple of goals like Alonso, and they get recognised for it. But Virgil van Dijk just been very good at centre back.
Yeah.
And Mane's got a couple of goals, been quite effective. I think Pereira might be my shout for it after playing very well so far and scoring some lovely goals.
He's been phenomenal for this start. He was very good at. So I do a fantasy football with my friends, and when Watford signed him last year, I bought him. Because I was like, I recognise him from Juventus. He did well. I think it was Juventus. Yeah. And I was like, he is this fleet-of-footed footballer who can just control a game and score a wonder goal every so often. And then he was rubbish. Well, he wasn't rubbish last year. He got quite a bad injury. But this season, again, he's like Lucas Moura, isn't he? He's settled into the club. He knows what's going on with it. Other than the fact he's had 3 different managers, but it's great to see. a player be like that at a lower club. No offence to Watford fans, but
no,
and they're surprising everybody.
He reminds me of not in his style, a little bit in his style of play, but how he's kind of come through. It's that he's taken a little bit of time. It's similar to Riyad Mahrez. So Riyad Mahrez had his season kind of adapting, and then he just blossomed and Leicester won the league. I'm not saying, well, shall I say it? Watford might win the league. They've won 3 out of 3.
Yeah.
And then, so it's kind of similar to that. He's taken time to adapt, so it shows glimpses of what he's about, and then now hopefully he'll push on and he'll have a good season. So hopefully this continues, because I mean he's got 3 and 3 so far in the league, so he's doing quite well.
Or he could be Richarlison and score all of his goals in the first month.
Well, hopefully he does a Richarlison, and when Watford play Tottenham, he has a headbutt and gets sent off.
Oh yeah. Well, that's true. That's very true. It could happen. That's this week, isn't it? That's today. Was it tomorrow?
That will be
Tottenham.
That'll be Sunday, the 2nd of September. That plays.
Yeah. So that'll be a good game, actually. It'll be a very good game. 2 teams in good form. Very good form.
Yeah, and Watford like to play. It's always annoying when you have a game where someone doesn't like to play. So that'll be a shame. And the other side of London, there's North London. There's Arsenal versus Cardiff, which I think I'm going to go for. Arsenal to not get a result. I think Cardiff are going to do that.
You reckon Cardiff will get a win?
Yep. Yeah, I think Arsenal will not like it up them. The way that Cardiff play, and like aerial long balls, I think it's going to be Cardiff at home. Arsenal had a bit of a tough start. Czech to make a blunder, and I'm going Cardiff win.
I just can't. I can't see that. Cardiff are too poor. They're too poor. They shouldn't be in this division. Sorry, Cardiff fans, but it's like they don't offer enough. They really don't, and it's. I was going to say sad to see, but it's not, because I don't really like Cardiff. So the club, the city, the city is lovely, but I don't like Neil Warnock. That's what it really is. I don't like Neil Warnock, and if they sacked Neil Warnock and hired, I don't know, Roy Hodgson, let's say, I'd immediately like Cardiff a lot more.
But football fans' granddad or dad,
Roy
Hodgson.
Exactly. So, any other big games that stand out for you this weekend?
This weekend,
top of your head?
No, but you got Burnley, Manchester United. I think.
Yeah.
That's another tough. Burnley have had a poor start so far, and United have had a poor start. I think. Previously, I think last season you said Burnley might stand a chance here, but they just look a bit shot really, and they've obviously played midweek, so I'm not sure. That'll get any happier for them.
That will have knocked the stuffing out of them as well, that midweek game, because it was so they Sam Vokes missed 2 sitters. I've seen the highlights. Sam Vokes missed 2 sitters, and they needed 2 goals to go through, and then Olympiacos scored, and Burnley scored straight away, and they put a lot of effort into that game. Even judging by the highlights, you could see they put a lot of effort into it. But then, it's Man United, isn't it? And we're in crisis mode. So,
I'll tell you what I have done recently is the looking at. So Man City and Newcastle play this weekend.
Yeah.
And obviously there's 2 sides who've been kind of up and down with their transfers and their league placing. It's been a bit of a rocky 10 years for both of them. Obviously City on the up, Newcastle up and down. So I've started looking at what did the lineups look like 10 years ago when they both played.
Okay.
And so the Man City lineup 10 years ago. So any ideas who would have been in charge 10 years ago for either of them? Do you want me to put you on the spot, or do you want me to just go for it?
10 years ago, 2008, Sven-Goran Eriksson.
No, this is Mark Hughes in charge now.
Okay. All right.
And for Newcastle, this is a tough one. This is.
Oh bloody hell! No, I'm not going to get that. Kenny Dalglish.
It's Joe Kinnear.
Oh bloody hell! Is this when he called him Johan Kebab?
So Man City's lineup. They had Joe Hart in goal. They had Wayne Bridge, Neda Manua, Zabaleta, Micah Richards, Big Vinny Company still there.
Yeah.
Nigel de Jong, Stephen Ireland, who had kind of 2 season wonder, didn't he?
Yeah.
And then it all went wrong when he started blaming his deceased mother-in-law or grandma, or whatever, wasn't it? Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember that drama.
Yeah, and their forward line was Sean Wright Phillips,
Joe?
whoever he. No, they had Craig Bellamy and Robinho.
Oh, okay.
I think Joe may have been there.
Yeah.
And then you side, Steve Harper was in goal.
Oh, God. Okay.
Getting his one. Shay Given was been injured or something.
Yeah.
Sebastian Bassong.
Nice. Great start.
The Mophead Wonder.
Sebastian Bassong was a great start to a back four.
Yeah. Well, then you had the... I mean, if you have big floppy hair, you're not a good centre-back. Fabrizio Colocini was...
oh, yeah.
David Edgar. I mean, everybody knows David Edgar.
Canadian.
Really Canadian.
Yeah, he was, yeah.
Jose Enrique.
Legend, yeah.
Yeah. Jeremy.
Oh my God! In centre midfield, or right back.
Yeah, he'd been playing maybe right midfield or.
Yeah.
I think David Edgar in right back. Stephen Taylor, who, if I said to you Stephen Taylor, what are your memories of Stephen Taylor?
When he went down holding his chest as if he'd been shot when he handballed it.
Yes. Yes.
That's got to be in every, because he went down like onto his knees. He was like, ah.
Yeah, he literally. Yeah. He played dead at the end. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that is the stand-up memory I think everyone has of Stephen Taylor.
Going back to our earlier talk of bastards with Sergio Ramos, we have Joey Barton in centre midfield, Damien Duff, and up front you had your classic big man, little man. Although this little man was a shadow of his former self, which I'll touch on in a second. Michael Owen and Andy Carroll.
Yeah, wow, that is a proper big man, little man.
Yeah. And I don't know if you saw it earlier this week. Michael Owen, after his punditry on the weekend, he's talked about his career, and it was quite eye-opening. I'd give it a watch if you haven't seen it. We shared it on our Twitter.
I have, yeah. I've seen it.
About how, yeah,
we both shared it on Football Talk. That's football.
Yeah.
There's no A in football. Talk on Twitter.
No. Yeah, and it was just quite nice to hear, really, because. He gets a lot of stick, doesn't he, Michael Owen? Because unfortunately, the best part of his career was at the start. So he had a good, say, 4 or 5 years, a bad 7 years, which are kind of eroding with good memories, and then he's had a bad punditry career. It's really. I'm clinging on to that goal against Argentina, going, I know there's a Michael Owen in there, which I actually have some respect for. But this kind of interview brought back a lot of respect. It was good to hear, and it was a shame to hear him talk about injuries and how he literally couldn't play the way he wanted to play. He had to play a different style of football, which wasn't natural to him, and he was just eking out the rest of his career.
I found it very interesting when he went on to the bit about, like you say, how he changed his game, but he changed it because his brain was still telling him to do something, and then he had to have that split-second thought and think, oh no, I can't do that because of my hamstring or his thigh or whatever it was that he tore, and that was like. That was everything he had, wasn't it? It was If you're listening and you haven't seen it, just go on Twitter and go to our Twitter and it's on there, or go to Twitter and just search for Michael Owen and it will still be the video that comes up. It was on BT Sport, I think, wasn't it, in the UK?
It was, yeah. Jake Humphries was interviewing him, and there was McManaman and Keown in the talking as well.
Yeah, very very eye opening. A very honest interview. It was very good to go. Well, that first week in football thing has gone on for a little bit longer than it normally does. So, but I guess with wrapping it into the week in football, we can go on to part one of what we wanted to talk about, and that's the Champions League draw happened. So,
yeah, it did.
Take it away. Talk about Tottenham first.
Take it away. Right, yeah. So, I'm assuming if you haven't already seen it, we'll put it up on the screen so you can see what the draw was. But there's some tasty draws there. So. Just remember, Dave. So I predicted Man City to win the Champions League. Who did you have?
Juventus.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So I'll go to Spurs. Go tackle the English teams first. So Spurs are drawn in Group B alongside Barcelona, PSV Eindhoven, and Inter Milan. And I absolutely love this group. I couldn't be happier.
I thought you'd be a bit scared.
Because I'd like. No. I like getting because you can offer, because our first season in the Champions League, like in recent times, was a couple of years back when we played. Was it Monaco, Bayer Leverkusen, and someone else who escapes at the moment? And he didn't really play against that outstanding side, and we got knocked out. It was like great. So we've had a Champions League season of Champions League, and we've not played anyone who I'd consider a Champions League royalty. So I'm happy to get them in a group. And Barcelona, I've wanted to see Spurs at a new camp for so long, because it's one of my favourite stadiums. Obviously, unlikely I'll get to go, but just seeing them play there on TV will be amazing. Okay. The only shame is it's not Barcelona of old. It's kind of a Barcelona who's losing that kind of identity a little bit. They're just kind of becoming another one of those top sides with good players, but you still hopefully get to see Messi against, well, Danny Rose, maybe?
Yeah. I've got a feeling I might be tempted to put a bet on to say Barcelona won't qualify from that group.
Oh, no.
Spurs and Inter Milan to go through. I might put a cheeky pound on it.
Yeah, Inter Milan are a fallen giant, aren't they? They've tried to do a bit of business this summer and signing a few players, but I see them struggling to make an impression. Obviously, it's one of the big games in Spurs' recent history was those 2 games against Inter Milan that made Gareth Bale who he was now.
Yeah, very true.
So we have that, and that was when Inter were at their pomps. That's why I loved that season as well, because we got to play against the reigning champions, and we played against your Samuel Eto'os, your Lucios, your Javier Zanettis. That was fantastic to see.
Yeah, that's very true. So you're happy with the group then overall for Tottenham?
I almost tweeted it the night before. I said I'd like to see Spurs get Barcelona, Inter and Ajax. That's it. I'd like to see us play Ajax, because I feel like we're the English Ajax. We've got so many ex-Ajax players and play nice football. So yeah, that's what I'd have liked to have seen. So I'm very happy.
Okay, so we'll go on to Man United next then. Group H. We'll go from D to H. B to H.
B.
Yeah. And we've got the return of Ronaldo to Old Trafford.
Yes.
Juventus. Yeah, which will be cracking. It'll be brilliant. I mean,
has he been back?
Yeah, he came back with Madrid. Yeah, he got a great reception. Yeah. He got a wonderful reception when he played with Madrid, obviously, and the same will happen against Juventus. It'll be interesting to see how he lines up, because I've watched a couple of highlights in Serie A, and he's not been brilliant. He's gone back to being a bit of a winger.
He had a dodgy start to last season, didn't he?
Yeah, that's true.
He scored something like 1 in his first game. He just absolutely exploded.
Yeah.
Later on, but he has been a bit of a different style for a moment. It takes time to adapt. I mean, he might be the best player, one or second best player in the world, but it does take time to adapt. Just, I mean, we've both changed jobs recently. It's just on this level, there's different people with different faces, there's different routines, different procedures. It's all a little bit different language for him. And
yeah, that's true. Actually, yeah, it's very true. And then we welcome back another Man United connection, Gary Neville's old team, Valencia.
Yeah.
In that short stint, they're quite a big fallen giant, aren't they? I can remember back in the days when they were winning. Was it under Benitez when they won the La Liga, and they won? Was it the Champions League? Or was it the Europa League?
They had two losing finals in the Champions League, didn't they?
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, and they had.
I absolutely loved that Valencia side with, Vicente, when Vicente was actually a cracking left winger, and you had Pablo Aimar, Claudio Lopez, Roberto Ayala, Anglomar, Carboni, absolutely loved that Valencia side.
That's good. And
Ruben Baraka in midfield.
Yes. Yeah, Ruben Baraka, I remember him. Yeah, that was a great team. That was a really good team. But they've got riddled with debt, didn't they? They had an owner that just was determined to build a new stadium and put the club in loads of debt, and now the stadium's built and they own it and they're on the mend. But they're still every season I hear about how Madrid and Barcelona sort of just pick their best player and buy him. I think they had was it Rodri that played for them last season, and he's now moved to one of the big teams in Spain. Maybe even Atletico Madrid now, who are poaching their players, but. Yeah, and then we finish Group H off with Young Boys Bern, who I will imagine.
I remember them well.
Do you? Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah, because we in our qualifying round for the Champions League, when we first got in there, we played them away. I don't know if it's still the case, but they had a fake pitch, say 3G, 4G pitch, and we lost 3-1, I think, but I think we had, was it Sebastian Basson got a late kind of headed consolation goal, and that really set us on the way back at back at the lane, and Peter Crouch got a hat-trick, and we, rest is history.
Excellent. Well, I predict Young Boys Byrne to get 1 point, and it'll be off Man United at Old Trafford.
At Old Trafford, wow.
No. I think they'll get a point of us, maybe away. But us and Juventus to go through, I can't see much else other than that.
No.
I mean, oh wow, that's not what I tweeted, was it? When the draw was done.
No, you were like, it's all gone to pot. Yeah.
I'll see you in the Europa League, I think is what I tweeted. But yeah. So Man City then. Man City, Shakhtar Donetsk, Hoffenheim, and Lyon.
Man City, when they started their Champions League kind of ventures a few years back, it was kind of their first European football for ages. They were obviously low on the old coefficient and got awful group draws. Now, I mean, this is ridiculous group draw. There's nothing that's going to cause them any issues there. Shakhtar have offloaded their
best players,
their last set of Brazilians, and reinstated some new ones, but it's not the same. And obviously Dario Serna's there no more, who's one of my favourite players. But
yeah, I used to love Dario Serna.
Yeah, cracking player. But Lyon, Hoffenheim, no issue for them. It's formality as well.
It should be a formality. Lyon have thrown a bit of cash. Did you see their European transfer deadline day buy? They bought.
Who was it going?
Dembele from Celtic.
Oh yes, I saw John Hartson tweet about that thing. It's going to happen. I was like, because he obviously, but it's with a different second S. I was like, what? Mr. Dembele's going? I was like, no. I was like, hold on, he won't be tweeting about Tottenham.
No, yeah. So 20 million they bought him for. So that's interesting. And then Liverpool, they get a big game against PSG.
Yeah, that's front three for battle of the front threes, isn't it? So you got Eric Choupo-Moting. Yeah. Not quite Eric Choupo-Moting, no. But so it'll be interesting. There'll be some good games, I think.
I would love it in that game if it was 0-0, and then Choupo-Moting came on and made it 1-0, and then Shaqiri came on and made it 1-1, and that was it. It finished 1-1 with Shaqiri and Choupo-Moting scoring. I'm most excited in that game about seeing Virgil van Dijk kick the living daylights out of Neymar.
He'll just bounce off him, won't he? It'll be
it'll be brilliant.
The physical difference between the two of them.
Yeah, it'll be absolutely brilliant. And their group's finished out with Red Star Belgrade, who I don't think I've seen in a Champions League for a very long time.
No, that is an old name, isn't it?
Yeah. And Napoli, who were very good but have lost their manager and their best central midfielder. So they've started the season all right. But it'd be nice to see a lot of prior years Napoli against Liverpool. But hey ho. Yeah.
But overall, I think it's pretty good draws for most of the sides.
I think it is. Yeah, I think it is. I mean, it's like when I see these sort of groups, I just have to chat about Group D. Have you got the groups in front of you?
Well, I've got Group D. Yeah, Group D.
Schalke, Porto.
There's very even groups.
Yeah, but there's no how is that a Champions League group? How is
Well, you've got all the sides in there which you kind of wouldn't mind filling your rest. They're fillers, aren't they? They're Champions League filler.
Yeah. They're
They're kind of
it's nothing to get really excited about, is it?
No, no one's going to be tuning into those groups going, "Oh, I'd like to see this," but they're there. But the thing is, you have two of those in the next round, so it's an odd one, isn't it?
That's I guess that's the benefit, is that you want to sort of draw one of them in the next round to get an easy buy into the quarterfinals. And then the only one we haven't looked at, or two more groups we haven't looked at, Group A, big game there is probably Dortmund v Atletico Madrid, but with Monaco chucked in as well. Yeah.
Club Brugge, that's the filler again. Monaco again, they've fallen away a bit. They just get their best players picked off each time, and Atletico will be as strong as ever. I quite like the look of Dortmund with Favre in charge this year, so I think it'll be quite nice to see them be a bit more of a force, because I mean the Dortmund of with Klopp's Dortmund was very exciting to watch. So hopefully they get back to a strong level.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting.
For German football need it as well, because you don't want.
No, they do. I agree. Yeah, German football need it. With Dortmund, it'll be interesting to see. One of our first ever episodes was about Jadon Sancho, wasn't it? It'll be interesting to see.
Yes, it was. Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see how much game time he gets this year. Apparently, he started the season quite well, so it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah,
interesting to see him. He was in line. Are you going to offer a
Sancho watch throughout the year?
Oh, I might do. Why not? I might go for a bit of a Sancho watch. Sancho watch and Weir watch. That's what I can go for. What other groups we got? Ajax, Athens, Benfica, and Bayern Munich. I mean, Bayern Munich should walk that group, shouldn't they? Quite easily.
Yeah, but then Benfica, Ajax. Hopefully, I mean, surely you do as well. Have a soft spot for Ajax. No one can hate Ajax, can they? Apart from PSV fans.
Yeah, I think most non-Dutch people who like football will like Ajax. So because like Dutch people have their specific teams. So
yeah.
I mean, it's total football. It's Johan Cruyff. It's where Kluivert started. It's great.
Yeah,
they're a great team.
Cracking players. It's all technically nice. It's not dirty. It's just it's very nice. So I'd happily see Ajax come second in that group.
Me too. I'd love it.
So I mean, that kind of covers off the Champions League. Do we want to drop down to the doldrums of Europa League quickly to see what the British side's got there?
Yeah, go for it. Why not? I'll have a quick look.
So Arsenal drew Sporting Lisbon, Karabag, and FC Vorskla.
What
are your thoughts on the FC Vorskla? You a big fan of FC Vorskla?
Follow them around the world, mate. Follow them around the world. Yeah. Never heard of them. Where are they from?
Never heard of them. Don't know. Fun fact. I think I'm going to go. Fun fact about Karabag, though, because Karabag are from Azerbaijan.
Yeah.
But Armenians are banned from entering Azerbaijan, and Mkhitaryan is Armenian, so he may have to get special dispensation to be able to play against Karabag. Or I just won't play him because they should be able to walk it with their under 23s.
Yeah, they should do. Yeah.
But if Arsenal were to progress, the final is in Azerbaijan, so they may, if they go all the way, they might have to get the dispensation to get them to play in the final.
Yeah, that's quite interesting actually to see that, because they'll be one of the favourites for it. Like depending on if Emery wants to go for it, but from the offset they'll be one of the favourites for it. So just to clear it up, Vorskla Poltava, who I think is the group in the other team, the team that no one knows where they're from. No, they're Ukrainian. So they're playing the Ukrainian Premier League and represents the city of Poltava. So there you go.
So there's no Dynamo Kiev then? Oh, it must be. It might be, but I didn't.
Yeah, there might not be actually. No, there isn't. No, there isn't. Oh, yes, they are. So they got Dynamo Kiev and Volska Poltava in the Europa League, and then Shakhtar in the Champions League.
Okay.
Interesting.
All right.
Chelsea.
Yeah. Chelsea. Worst chant ever.
Yeah.
They got PAOK, Bat Borisov, and Vidi FC. So they have got some big travels. They got to be going all around.
Yeah, I saw you tweet about that. Did you have the total number of mileage?
No, I didn't. I just thought, I kind of roughly know where they are, and I thought, that is some miles they're going to clock up. So again, that'll be where Ruben Loftus-Cheek gets some minutes this season, won't it?
Yeah, I'm gutted that he didn't move anywhere. So I really wanted him to get some first team football. But
linked to that, did you see Tammy Abraham went down a division? He obviously played with Swansea last year in the Premier League, and I thought he did okay. It's hard in a Swansea side that barely created chances, but he's taken it on the chin and dropped down to be on loan at Aston Villa this season.
Are you joking me? He's gone to Aston Villa.
He's gone to Aston Villa.
Because in my Master League that I've just started on Provo, I'm Aston Villa and I've signed Tammy Abraham on loan.
Oh my goodness!
Love it when stuff like that happens. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it for the English teams in the Europa League, isn't it? For now.
Yeah. Just a brief mention on the Scottish sides. Celtic have got Celtic is a little bit funny because they got Rosenborg, but they also got Red Bull Salzburg and RB Leipzig.
Oh yeah.
So RB Leipzig were previously Red Bull, but I think it's kind of been pushed to the side now. But I'm not entirely sure if that is the case.
So you're not allowed to have a sponsorship in your name in Germany. So Salzburg, you can still have it in Australia. So they are still Red Bull Leipzig. They still have the badge with the Red Bull badge on it, but they have to be called Rasenbull Leipzig. They can't be called Red Bull, so it's Rasenbull Leipzig. Yeah, there you go. Little fact for you.
Oh, interesting. And then finish it off. Rangers will face Villarreal, Rapid Vienna, and Spartak Moscow. And that just got me thinking fondly about the Villarreal sides of years gone by. That were times in the Champions League, and it's like, oh yeah, Roman Riquelme. Oh.
Yeah. Was it Pellegrini made his name there, didn't he?
Yeah, Pellegrini. Yeah. So they had Marcos Senna, is it?
Diego Forlan.
Yeah, Juan Pablo Sorin.
Oh yeah, all these players.
Carney.
Love them.
Yeah.
Absolutely love it.
Lovely jubbly.
Yeah.
All right, I think that's our European adventure curtailed.
Yeah.
Anything else to add?
No, I don't. It would just be interesting to hear anyone else's thoughts. If they want to leave them in the comments below or in a discussion, I think it's called, on SoundCloud, then please leave us a little message, and we'll read it and get back to you. I love interesting, like Arsenal fans. Do you think you should go for the Europa League? Like, would you rather get 4th spot in the Premier League, or would you rather win the Europa League? Now both of them give you Champions League. Right, yeah. Well, both of them give you Champions League, don't they? So, it's interesting to see which ones they'll put their basket in. If we have any Celtic and Ranger fans, Celtic, what do you think about, first time under Brendan Rodgers not qualifying for the Champions League group stage? And Rangers fans, can you go further than Celtic in the Europa League? So, because that's a big game. Is that this weekend? Celtic v Rangers?
Well, I don't know actually.
I think it is, but I'm not 100% sure. So we might come back to that a bit later. But yeah, okay. So I think we'll leave that.
It's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow. There you go. Thank you, Josh. That's going to be really loud in everybody's ears. Yeah, okay, right. We'll get on to the wiki files. Go for it. What do you see?
I'll say what I see. I see the career starting in 1993. So they would have been about, say, 20 years old at 1993. Okay. And they started at Crewe Alexandra. 132 appearances, 27 goals. Goal scoring midfielder or striker. They get a big move up to Liverpool.
Yeah.
But then they get loaned out again to Crewe Alexandra. Didn't quite happen. Or did they just buy with an agreement to loan back?
Now,
I just want
to interject there, because I don't think they did, because he only played 16 games. So that's, to me, that says he moved to Liverpool in 97 and had a season at Liverpool, or a season and a half at Liverpool, and then went to Crewe for like the second half of a season. So I think he moved to Liverpool and didn't fit in, or didn't settle or something, and went back to Crewe.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Yeah. But then he came back to Liverpool.
Yeah.
It's one of those loans that do work out, and they actually come back to a club, and he's played 170 games for Liverpool, scoring 25 goals. Well done. Then he moves to Charlton Athletic. Plays 56 games, 7 goals. This has got to be a midfielder now, unless he's maintaining. Tottenham Hotspur in there, 22 games, 2 goals. This is just a one-season wonder. Fulham's been for it all. His second largest amount of league appearances. He then goes to Fulham, stays in London for 169 games, 17 goals. And then finishes his career with a season at Blackburn Rovers, 33 games and 1 goal, meaning he played, that's unfortunate, he played 599 career league games, scoring 80 goals. So just a bit better than kind of 1 in 10.
Yeah.
Slightly attacking midfielder. But there's a background at Dario Gradi's Crewe Alexandra. Is Dario Gradi's reputation been tarnished?
I don't think it has. I don't think he's had anything found guilty of anything. So I'll be honest with you. When I was looking at this, and I found this player, I completely forgot about that season at Tottenham. Completely forgot about it. I think
I remember it, and he was all right for us actually. So I've got it, by the way.
Yeah, I assumed you would have.
Yeah, and you do love your Englishmen, don't you? What you got against foreigners, Dave? What have you got against them?
Nothing. I just love to keep this. You bring the foreigners, I'll bring the Englishmen. It's a level playing field.
Okay.
I'll promise you, on 2 weeks' time, I'll do a foreigner.
Okay.
I'll have to see what my wife thinks about that. But
tell me all about it, Dave. Lovely Singaporean woman. Right.
I'm gonna leave that in. Right.
So excellent. So, so what you said to her?
Oh bloody hell, Josh! Excuse me, viewers. We're gonna have a little pause. Oh,
right.
Oh, right.
Back to Danny Murphy.
Yes, it is Danny Murphy.
Danny Murphy.
Well done.
Danny Murphy. I liked Danny Murphy as a player. I mean, you'd probably feel less positive about him because of his Liverpool past, but he was quite a tidy player. He was nothing really special. He had a little spell of scoring against you guys, didn't he? A few free kicks and
he did,
a few goals, but he was okay. He was.
I really, really liked him when he was at Fulham. I really liked him at Fulham. He
Do you
was
know
a bit
what?
older and he dropped back, didn't he?
Yeah,
a playmaker.
Fulham are the English Ajax in that sense, because I don't know how you don't like Fulham. Fulham is lovable.
Yeah, that is very true. Yeah.
Play nice football. Just a nice, warm, friendly club. I really want to go to Craven Cottage. Actually, I haven't been. I'd love to go for a game. I might see when Fulham versus Spurs is on at the Cottage and try and get tickets for that.
Yeah, that would be quite good. So you're quite good at normally this guessing game. So how many England caps do you think he had?
I don't think it was too many. I'm going to say in the teens.
I would say you've gone too high.
Oh, really?
Mm.
Oh, did he only get a handful, did he?
He got 9.
9? Any
9
goals?
England caps. One goal.
Okay.
Yeah,
don't remember it, but
no,
okay.
neither do I. But the interesting fact of his England career is that he played for every single age range between under 18s to senior, and he got the most appearances at senior level. That's quite rare, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
So, yeah, interesting.
Oh, yeah. Tiny player, bit of a poor pundit, not a big fan. Is it as forgettable as his football career, I think?
Yeah. Well done, Josh. You get another wiki file.
Thank you very much.
On the head, nail hit on the head. Not even needing his national
Beautiful.
team or his position. So, yeah, well done. He's 41.
Talk
by
about
the way.
is 41.
He's 41.
Yes, yeah. So, leaving his international career there, we got flown nicely into international football as part 2, the UEFA Nations League.
Oh yeah, is everyone else as confused as I am? I'm sure you are, listeners. Josh, what's it about?
Well, so I ran a poll earlier in the week to see what the appetite was for the UEFA Nations League. So I said, with the UEFA Nations League set to start next week, people looking forward to the new international format. So I had yes, can't wait, got 42% of the vote. Lovely, that was the winner. But close second was meh, boring as usual. Third was UEFA Nations what, with 20%. And no, bring back friendlies was very much bottom of the list with 2%. So I think we can say that we've got no one wants international friendlies because they are just tedious. But there's some excitement about it. But maybe we can transfer those 20% of UEFA Nations what into the excited people by explaining to them what it is.
I think we can. I think we can. Yeah, I think we can. So what I will say is that it's very, very good to see that a lot of people don't want friendlies coming back. a lot of people see the difference between.
There still are a handful of friendlies because this is only UEFA, so you still got probably some kind of worldwide friendlies and in the calendar. This is only a short period of time as well, so we'll still see friendlies. It doesn't replace them, but I'll get into the full explanation of it in a second. Okay?
Yeah.
So this happens every 2 years, the UEFA Nations League. It's happening for the first time in this season, the 18-19 season, and involves all 55 UEFA members. So we'll be playing games between September, October and November, with 55 teams will. There's 4 leagues, and within those 4 leagues of A, B, C and D, there are 4 groups. So those 55 teams are separated into 16 groups overall. And so you have this is based on coefficient. You have your A League, B League, C League and D League. So teams in Group A or League A are somewhat similar to each other in ability, and then as they are in League D. So in League D you have your Dross, basically. You have your Andorras, your Georgias, your Kazakhstans, your Latvias, your Belarus, and so they're playing against each other. And so you each other across September, October, November this year. And then the top teams are promoted and the bottom teams are relegated. So you'll have the top teams in B and C will get promoted into A and B. The bottom teams in A, B and C will be relegated to B, C and D. But the top teams in the League A will go through to a final format, which will be played in June of next year. So next year you have the 4 teams who finished top of their respective groups in the A-League, so A1, A2, A3 and 4 would have a winner. They'll go to play next June in a semi-final, and then there'll be the winners of those play in the final, the losers of those play in third place playoffs. So you have a very kind of mini final to the end of the tournament, and then the winner will be crowned the winner of the UEFA Nations League. So that's all positive at the moment. That's kind of a short little kind of league format where there's a bit of promotion relegation, and then there's a cup given out next year. So that's the UEFA League. Place. The confusion there. It doesn't replace the the European Championships qualifying. It's not instead of that. It's additional to that within the calendar. It's replacing friendlies basically.
Right.
So we'll then be running the Euros qualifying, and then how the UEFA Nations League links into that is that. So you have your qualifying, and some teams would have qualified, some teams wouldn't. Of those who haven't qualified, they will be given another chance via their standing in the UEFA Nations League. So they'll effectively go into a playoff. So if you have, so for example, you have your I can't remember if it's because there's odd numbers, 4 leagues, 4 groups in the A-League. If all of those have qualified, then the playoff will drop down to the playoff position will be for the B-League. But basically, everybody in A, League B, League C and D, all of those go through a playoff, 2 of the teams in each, to get through to the European Championship. So you will have someone from League D playing in the European Championships. You will have one of those teams I mentioned, the San Marinos, the Luxembourgs.
Yeah,
they will be playing
at that list of teams.
Yeah.
Ugh, yeah.
It's not great. Apart from Latvia, all of them would be making their debut at a European Championships.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Fair enough. Okay.
And so all these games count towards the coefficient, but ultimately from now on it's going to be based on promotion relegation. It was only the initial standing of it was based on coefficient.
So when was
England
that done?
Have been drawn in. That was done. The coefficient was based off, I think, October last year, and the draw was earlier this year.
Okay.
Yeah, so England are in a group with Croatia and Spain, so relegation beckons.
Yeah. Going to Pot B, that's fine. That will secure us in the Euro Championships.
Well, see, that is the thing. So it's how you. So the teams in League D at the moment, you've got really bad sides, haven't you? How much are they going to be wanting to get promoted to the League C? Because they are currently playing against like-minded, skilled sides, and they want to be there to be able to kind of challenge for the playoff.
Yeah.
They're not going to want to go to get against better sides in League C and have a harder chance to get into a playoff. They're going to want to be one of those sides in D, vying for the playoffs. Much like England maybe wanting to drop down to B to stand a better chance of winning a playoff if they don't qualify by their own right. It's a strange situation.
It is. It's a system that I can see it working and why they've done it and how it incorporates all the lesser nations and stuff in Europe and getting them potentially into the European Championships. But it's a system that can very much be played. It looks like a system that can very much be played to sort it out how you want. Because the only reason I asked about the coefficients is it's very interesting to see Scotland are in C and Northern Ireland are in B. And I would have thought they would have been the other way around. There just seems a few that are a bit odd.
Oh, really? Northern Ireland have always performed pretty well, haven't they? They've come close to qualifying. Scotland have been nothing for a few years.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I think the positives of this UEFA Nations League is that you have more games for those teams in League D where they can actually play against similar sides and not just get trounced week in, week out. They still obviously have to go through qualifying, and therefore they'll play against the better players. So you'd want to see your accountant from part-time footballer who'll play against England or something like that, and so he can get Harry Kane's shirt. But you'd actually like to see them get, so the stats don't get rolled out. San Marino have not scored a goal in 65 competitive internationals. It's like you'd like to see them actually be a bit more of a challenging game, and so I think that's what's going to be good about it, is that you have teams of similar qualities playing against each other. Therefore, you have more competitive matches on the paper.
So, are you excited about it? What did you vote for in the poll?
I voted yes. I'm excited. Yourself?
I voted yes. I can't wait. I'm excited by it. I mean, I like watching England. Well, no, I will watch England. I can't say I've enjoyed it previously. The World Cup was great, obviously, but before that, I watched every single competitive England game because, I'm an England fan. I always said I'd rather England win the World Cup than Man United win the Champions League or whatever. I'd always want that. But,
would you?
Yeah. Because I think England winning the World Cup is a once in a lifetime.
Do you reckon that's because you support United? You support United, and because you support a club which it isn't once in a lifetime thing to win their own league or the Champions League. You've already experienced that. Myself, with Spurs, now more likely than ever, but still unlikely to win Champions League or to win the Premier League. I would rather see Tottenham win one of those than see England in the World Cup.
I think it doesn't matter who I'd support. I'd still want England. I'd rather see England win the World Cup once in my lifetime than my club win anything, because it's happened once in the whole lifetime of everyone in England ever in 1966. So for it to happen once in my lifetime would be absolutely incredible. It would be
okay. I think I would say I'm a full-time Tottenham fan. Like it embodies me. It is part of my life. I would look at Tottenham news day in, day out. I'd say, although I'm full-time, I'd always support England. I'm very much part-time in my fandom, but I won't keep track of England players overall.
Yeah, but that's because the whole international football is part-time. If England had a game every single week, obviously that's not feasible at all. But if they had a game every single week and Tottenham had a game every single week, I bet you would follow England just as much as you do Tottenham. You would follow the news about England just as much as Tottenham. Because when you're following the Premier League, you're pretty much following news about English players and the England team.
It's funny, and it's funny. I suppose the interesting question would be for our listeners is that if you support a nation and your club side doesn't play within that nation or have any players from a nation, do you still keep a track of your nation's kind of news and performance? So like, I know you might support Canada, but you support Chelsea. Do you have, obviously no Canadians play for Chelsea, are you still well versed on kind of Canadian football and all the players? How do you have an opinion on the players that get called up, or is it kind of like it's a very much a passing kind of right, they're the players, they seem like they're all right? But it'd be interesting to know if anybody's got that kind of dynamics of their football fandom.
Yeah, that would be actually, and I think what I'm going to preempt our poll that we're going to put out next week, and it's going to be: would you rather see your team win the World Cup? Would you rather see? I'd love to see Man United win the World Cup. Would you rather see Man United or your team win the Champions League or your country win the World Cup? Is that fair, or is it better to do like Premier League or just say a big trophy?
Yeah, major tournament, I suppose.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, I think that'd be a very interesting poll.
That's a good poll. Yeah. It will be. But I do think it's skewed by how successful your club are.
Yeah. Possibly. I would. Yeah. With everything that happened at the World Cup with England and how many people, became England fans again, I'd be surprised. I think more people will vote for their club. I do think more people will vote for their club, but I think
just on that topic though, how enjoyable the feeling was around the English nation, around how well we did. That was very much a lovely part to be part of, and I hadn't felt that around England since the Olympics in 2012. It was such a good feel good vibe around the country that would be a real benefit to England winning the World Cup rather than Tottenham winning a Champions League.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it'll be interesting. We'll put that out some mid next week at some point. And we can go through the results next week in the podcast. So, yeah, I look forward to that. But you described the UEFA Nations League very, very well. I actually followed it better listening to you than I did reading it on the BBC website. So, well done.
Good.
Yeah. So, I mean, leave us a comment again. Leave us a little point below. Are you interested? Do you care about the UEFA Nations League? Are you fussed if people win it or get relegated or whatever? I mean, in the scheme of things like England getting relegated from Group A, it's probably not going to affect us qualifying for the Euros, is it? Because we'll still probably qualify for the Euros.
We should always qualify for the Euros, yeah.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see how it's done. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it goes.
I think the proof is in the pudding. If you have teams taking it seriously and you see a competitive game, it will foster a good vibe from the fans and they'll want to watch it. If it is just like going through emotions in a friendly and I know lots of experimental things like that, you go, it isn't. It's how the teams approach it, a countries approach it is going to be how it's received.
Yeah, and I think the first when they do that first final, is it the final four you said next year that go into actually play out like two semi-finals and the final? If England get to that, I think that'll be a big pull for the country. If England aren't in it, I don't think anyone will care. It depends who's going to broadcast it as well, I guess. If BBC broadcast it,
but you could end up seeing, I don't know, Germany, Belgium, France, and England going head to head. And again, it's like, I mean, it's difficult in the first year of something to actually appreciate that it's a trophy. But if they really do compete it and they keep going for it and trying for it, that will become a better trophy. It'll become a more wanted and desired trophy.
A proper trophy. It'll become a proper trophy.
Yeah.
So I think part of me really hopes it does, because I don't think there's enough of that in international football. But then you also don't want to go to the other side where you have too much. But
no.
Yeah, I can see positives and negatives, but I'm interested. I'm intrigued, which I think is what UEFA would probably want people to feel at the moment. They'd probably want people to be curious and intrigued about it all and draw in the viewers, and hopefully, like you say, it'll be a competitive, entertaining spectacle. I mean, England start with Spain, don't they? So, will Spain... I haven't seen the Spain squad. I've seen the England squad. We can chat about that in a little bit in a minute. But the Spain squad, I haven't seen it. I assume they've picked a strong squad.
I've seen it. It's strong. I mean, you got your David De Gea, your Sergio Ramoses, you got your Sergio Busquets and Diego Costas. It's very strong. Thiago's. They're not taking it lightly either. Jordi Alba's out. Koke's not in. Pedro's not in. But overall, pretty strong side. Pretty strong squad.
Yeah, that's good to see then. That's good. So we'll have a quick. Do you want to have a quick chat about England squad just before we finish up for the day?
Yeah, what did you make of it?
There's a couple in there like Adam Lallana again. Really, should he?
I couldn't understand. I didn't really understand that one.
No, it's like 1 minute I think he's played of football this season so far, and he didn't really feature. Well, he didn't feature at the World Cup, did he? But it's Gareth Southgate, I think, rewarding him for the process of helping England qualify for the World Cup. A lot of it was, it's just sort of same old, which is good because we had a good World Cup and Southgate wants to keep it as much as he had. I think I would have liked to have seen maybe a few more younger players put in and someone like Danny Welbeck being dropped. But
I'd like to see cast his net wider and kind of. I mean, is there anyone? No, everybody plays in England. I mean, you've got a fair few players now playing outside of England in top leagues. Obviously, it's difficult. It's the start of the season. They haven't proved anything yet. But hopefully, as we go on, we'll see this England side be made up of players who aren't just playing in England, because we're now getting to a point where more and more are going abroad. So hopefully, they can start to get within the side, really.
Yeah, I think that the thing I have is that, like, why Danny Welbeck's not going to start. He shouldn't be starting for England. So if he's going to come on for like the last 5 or 6 or 7 minutes of a game, why not give that to like a Jadon Sancho or a younger player in even this younger player playing in England? It doesn't really. I don't really.
Do you know what's just blown my mind? Danny Welbeck's 27, Harry Kane's 25.
That is ridiculous. I thought Danny Welbeck was like 30.
Yeah, I know, but it's more of the age of Danny Welbeck surprised me, because I thought Danny Welbeck would be 30 plus now.
Yeah.
But nope.
Bloody hell. Okay, yeah, that's weird.
So
he's been around for ages.
Yeah, he has. Yeah, and I was watching highlights of. It was actually watching the Gary Neville's soccer box, and Danny Welbeck at United was showing some lovely lovely moves, some real technique, and some some actually proper finishing rather than bundling goals in. But yeah,
yeah. Well, I can remember when he scored his first goal for us against Stoke. It was a wonderful goal, absolutely wonderful.
Was it?
It was, yeah,
Lovely.
top corner. Yeah, but anyway, I think that's
a couple
enough
of obviously retirees, didn't we? We had a couple of retirees.
Oh, we did.
Jamie Vardy and Gary Cahill.
Yeah, like you tweeted, Jamie Vardy will be enjoying his holidays back in Magaluf.
Yeah, having a big old session with the lads.
Yeah,
yes, Jamie Vardy's having a party.
Getting on the Vimtos, getting on the cheeky Vimtos. Porton, Blue WK.
And he did very well, actually. Looking at it, Jamie Vardy did very well to get 26 caps in such a short amount of time. And, I mean, from where he came from to where he's going to end up, it's pretty impressive for Jamie Vardy.
He's also done very well, according that he had Harry Kane in the whole of his time. He played for England. And Marcus Rashford was bursting on the scene at the same time. So he's done very well. He's... how many starts has he had for England? Probably not that many.
Yeah, probably not that many, no.
But yeah, and then the other one was obviously Gary Cahill. Gary Cahill calling it wow, they're stepping back, haven't they? They haven't actually retired, but they're stepping back.
Oh, okay.
So.
And I have nothing to say on Gary Cahill retiring.
Yeah, he was good. He was good at some point, but
he's always been such a better player when he played with John Terry. He's okay. Definitely. Other than that,
Yeah, I mean, I'd much rather see someone like Joe Gomez given a go after his start for Liverpool this season, and I think that's correct in calling him up. So, but yeah, okay. Well, nothing really else to discuss on international football. We'll just have to wait and see how the games go. So
yeah. Hopefully, nice and competitive.
Hopefully they are. Yeah, it's next Saturday, isn't it? I think we play Spain. Yeah, it is Saturday the 8th. So we'll probably be recording just before it, I imagine, because it'll be an evening kickoff. So, yeah, interesting. Okay, well, we'll go on to your fun fact of the day then, Josh. Does it link into anything we've discussed, or is it one from the blue?
Well, I've got a couple. Let's cherry pick it. No, okay, it links into England because it's an England striker. We saw a goal from him during the week.
Okay.
We saw a goal. He hadn't scored since February 2016. But Saido Berahino scored a goal.
He did, yes.
Not a league goal, so we can still roll out that stat, but he scored a shocking little fumbled, was it a block shot, nodded it over into the back post. So he has scored a goal. He didn't seem too chuffed with it, but I mentioned Harry Kane because in that time that Saido Berahino hadn't scored, Harry Kane had scored over 100 goals.
Wow, that is ridiculous.
Yeah,
that is ridiculous. What happened to Berahino? He was good, wasn't he, at West Brom?
Yeah, because he scored against you, didn't he? He had that kind of a breakout season where he scored maybe a couple of goals against you at.
He did, yeah, at Old Trafford.
It was at Old Trafford. I was going to say it was at Hawthorns, but yeah. And he had a decent season. Probably scored, I'm going to say, something about 15 Premier League goals that season, 14. Yeah. And then it didn't happen, did it?
I think what killed him is that when the one striker came into fashion, because he's not a single striker, is he? You can't play him up front on his own.
No, that's how I felt about like how kind of Jermaine Defoe was at the right time. When Jermaine Defoe played, he was very much the kind of up with big man, little man, and he was tail end of his career. He's been just a little man. He's done all right with it, but yeah, the Michael Owens, Jermaine Defoe's that little nippy striker who is pretty one-dimensional, can't play on the wing, is unfortunate, aren't they?
Yeah. But then again, Berahino is probably one person you say should be able to play on the wing, because when he's not scoring goals, he's quick and he looks like he's got the technical ability to put a ball in the box, but maybe not, because you could argue that and say he'd have the technical ability to put the ball in the back of the net, and he hasn't done that for however long it was. So yeah. Oh, interesting fact to end on that one with Berahino. Yeah, interesting. Cool. Have you got one ready for next week?
Oh, I'm just racking them up, Dave. Racking them up.
Good. I love them. I love the stats. I like the fact this week you stuck to the rules. Only one fact. So,
do you know what? I was about to break them. I was about to chuck out another fact there just for the hell of it, but I know I'll keep. Keep my promise, just one fact.
Okay, just one fact though. We've been spoiling the listeners with your facts. They've had 2 facts in the last 2 weeks. So
they wouldn't know what to do. Yeah.
They'll expect 2 every week, and then there'll be 1 week where you won't be able to do it.
Fine. Luka Modric has just celebrated 6 years at Real Madrid. All right, 6 years at Real Madrid. Luka Modric. I'm happy for him, but a little bit bitter. But okay, he has played 260 games for Real Madrid. He has scored 13 goals. But he's won 14 trophies. What a goal to trophy ratio that man has got.
He's won more trophies than he scored goals.
Yep.
That is ridiculous. That is just ridiculous. That can't.
I mean, he's not he isn't a big goal scorer, so but that's still impressive because he's a reasonable attacking player. But 13 goals, 14 trophies.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. That's another great stat to end the podcast on. So
we'll end it there. I don't want to lose 3. I'm not going to get my hat trick.
Yeah. We'll end it there. You don't get a hat trick ball on this episode. Sorry, mate.
Speaking of hat tricks, here's a third. No.
Right then. Before Josh does go on to a third stat, we'll end it there. Thank you very much for listening, everybody. If you want to check us out on SoundCloud, just search for Football Talk. The link will be in the description below on YouTube, and it's on our Twitter page. And Josh, where can they find us at Twitter?
At Football Talk.
There's no A in football indeed. The YouTube channel is obviously Cultured Left Foot, 'cause that's where we're hosting it at the moment. That might change in the future. I need to chat to Josh about that. We'll see. Yeah, might be more plans in the pipeline.
That's breaking news for me as well as you, listeners.
So there you go. But thank you very much for listening, Josh. Say your farewells and goodbyes.
Just like to say goodbye and thank you for listening.
Thank you very much. And for now, we're out. Cheers.